Key terms, yeah. Every beginner should know. Flask, yeah. Glossary of key terms. Every beginner should know. Every beginner should know. Do you know it?
Flask Glossary, key terms every beginner should know. Greetings, dear viewer. The following is my attempt to learn the core concepts in Flask, as related to Python and Raspberry Pi. Therefore, I have created a dictionary of terms, a glossary. The associated pictures may not be entirely accurate, but I have tried my best. Thanks for watching. I hope it helps you. 1. Glossary of terms, from the transcript. Alphabetical order, clean and corrected terminology. API, Application Programming Interface. A set of rules that allows software components to communicate. In Flask, the API refers to how developers interact with Flask functions and tools. It simplifies handling web requests and responses. Application, Flask app. The central object created using Flask that represents your web app. It manages routes, configuration, and behavior. Typically created with app equals Flask, __name __. Database. A system used to store and retrieve structured data. Flask itself does not include a built-in database layer. Instead, it relies on extensions like SQL Alchemy. Debug mode. A development feature that shows detailed error messages and auto-reloads the server. Enabled using debug equals true. It should not be used in production for security reasons. Decorator. A Python feature used to modify functions. In Flask, decorators like add_app_root connect URLs to functions. They define how the app responds to requests. Development server. A built-in web server provided by Flask for testing. It allows developers to run apps locally. It is not suitable for production use. Extension. An add-on package that enhances Flask functionality. Examples include form handling, authentication, and database integration. Flask's ecosystem relies heavily on extensions. Flask. A lightweight Python web framework designed for simplicity and flexibility. It allows developers to build web applications quickly. It follows the micro-framework philosophy. Flask Login. An extension for handling user authentication. It manages user sessions and login states. It simplifies secure login systems. Flask Alchemy. An extension that integrates SQL Alchemy with Flask. It provides tools for database interaction. It simplifies working with relational databases. Flask WTF. An extension for handling web forms securely. It integrates WT forms with Flask. It supports validation and CSRF protection. HTTP request. A message sent by a client, browser, to a server. It asks for data or actions. Flask processes these requests and returns responses. HTTP response. The server's reply to a client request. It includes data like HTML, JSON, or text. Flask functions return responses to users. Jinja, template engine. A templating engine used by Flask to generate HTML dynamically. It allows embedding Python-like expressions in HTML. It separates logic from presentation. Micro-framework. A minimalistic web framework with fewer built-in features. Flask is a micro framework because it provides only essentials. Developers add features via extensions. Model represents data structure in applications, usually tied to a database. In Flask, models are often defined using SQL alchemy. They handle data storage and retrieval. Request object. An object containing incoming request data. It includes parameters, headers, and form data. Accessed via request in Flask. Root. A mapping between a URL and a Python function. Defined using decorators like @app_root/. It determines how the app responds to URLs. Routing. The process of directing incoming requests to the correct function. Flask uses decorators for routing. It is a core concept in web apps. SQL alchemy. A Python library for database interaction. It provides an ORM, object relational mapper. It allows working with databases using Python classes. Template. An HTML file with placeholders for dynamic content. Flask uses templates to render web pages. They are typically stored in a templates folder. URL parameter. A dynamic value passed in a URL. Used to customize responses, e.g., /profile/John. Flask captures these and passes them to functions. View function. A Python function that handles the request and returns a response. It is tied to a root. It defines what users see. WSGI, Web Server Gateway Interface. A standard interface between web servers and Python apps. Flask applications are WSGI compatible. It allows deployment on various servers. 2. Additional glossary. Important missing concepts. These were not explicitly covered but are important for real Flask usage. Blueprint. A way to organize Flask applications into modules. It helps structure large applications. Blueprints allows separation of concerns. Configuration. Settings that control how a Flask app behaves. Includes database URIs, secret keys, and debug settings. Typically stored in config files or objects. Context, application and request context. Flask uses contexts to track application state during requests. The request context handles request-specific data. The application context manages global app data. Environment variables. External variables used to configure apps. Commonly used for secrets and environment settings. Helps keep sensitive data out of code. Gunicorn. A production-ready WSGI server for running Flask apps. It is commonly used in deployment. It replaces Flask's development server. JSON, JavaScript Object Notation. A lightweight data format used for APIs. Flask can return JSON responses easily. Often used in web services. Middleware. Software that sits between request and response processing. It can modify requests or responses. Often used for logging, authentication, or security. ORM, Object Relational Mapper. A tool that maps database tables to Python objects. SQL alchemy is a common ORM used with Flask. It simplifies database interactions. REST API. An architectural style for building web services. Flask is commonly used to build REST APIs. It uses HTTP methods like GET, POST, PUT, DELETE. Session. A way to store user-specific data across requests. Flask sessions use cookies by default. They require a secret key for security. Static files. Files like CSS, JavaScript, and images. Stored in a static folder in Flask apps. Served directly to the browser. Threading. Handling multiple requests at the same time. Flask's development server supports basic threading. Production setups handle this more robustly. Virtual environment. An isolated Python environment for dependencies. Prevents conflicts between projects. Created using tools like Venv. Werkzeug. A low-level WSGI utility library used by Flask. It handles request/response processing. Flask builds on top of it. Alright, this concludes my audio-video presentation on Flask, a glossary of terms. I hope you enjoyed it and found it useful. Best wishes. I'm making more content like this all the time. So, subscribe if you don't want to miss more content like this. Again, this has been Flask Glossary, key terms every beginner should know. Party on, dudes.